morning, good afternoon, good evening. Henry from Big H Transportation, sitting on the fuel island at Flying J, as you can see behind the cement mixer. But this should go pretty good. On my way to the 01 down to La Porte, Texas, going to Oklahoma, Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. Only got a 415-mile trip. Pickup time is 3 o'clock, excuse me, or 1500 hours military time. So I should be there. Curious to see what this is doing. So I should be there well before my drop time, which is 2:30 a.m. If you guys can like and subscribe, really would appreciate it. Trying to build this community. I share you some of the highlights and sights on the road. And if you guys have any suggestions how I can make my videos better, by all means, I'm open. So I'm going to put in 80 gallons of fuel. That should get me to where I need to get to, and then some. I'm going to use my mobile app to fuel here at the old Flying J. Put a little fuel in the reefer since it's not a drop and hook, it's a live load. And we'll come back at you. Alrighty, alright.
Use the left lane to take the US 69 south ramp, then merge onto I-69.
Got the 80 gallons, actually got 71 gallons.
Continue on 2 minutes.
And I've topped off the reefer. I'm gonna pick up some produce.
Continue on I-69 for 17 miles.
Little produce-ski. Reefer settings on 57. Produce sensitive. Use the intelligent teleset setting. Beautiful day here in New Caney, Texas. Beautiful. 67 degrees at 1:20 on a Friday. Hope everyone's having a great day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you folks have any input on my videos, please, by all means, make some suggestions. This is probably like my 7th or 8th video, so I'm still learning. Still trying to figure out iMovie. Still trying to figure out my drone, the DJ Mavic Air 2. Crazy sick drone. They say it can go out 6 miles. It's crazy. Crazy. But by law, it's got to be in your line of sight, whether it's up or down. Actually, you're only allowed to go 394 feet due to FAA regulations. You'll get the controller, a warning comes up, it starts going crazy. You've exceeded the limit. You've exceeded the limit. Please back it off. Probably going to arrive here at the 01 about an hour early, maybe about 2:20. No, so about 45 minutes early. Did my pre-inspection and my fueling. Ready to rock and roll. I could not get over there. The car's jamming me up. So we're going to take this load up to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. I've been there a few times. It's apparent that I'm going to be getting there a little earlier than my scheduled drop-off. They've got a big lot across the way that you can hang out in. And after I drop my 14-hour clock will be more than expired. So I'm going to end up hanging out there until I get the reset and new instructions on what's going on as far as picking up the next load. It's one heck of a storm brewing. Be hitting the Midwest, just west of Oklahoma tomorrow, which is Saturday. Then the Northeast, depending on the track, it's supposed to be one hell of a snowstorm. So if anybody's traveling in the Northeast, especially along the coast, I think they said from Maryland up north, please be careful. We all have to look after each other. That's one great thing about Prime. It's a great community. Great community, great business, great money. Just around the block from where I stayed. Got there an hour early. They didn't start unloading me till almost 2 hours after the scheduled time. So I think I may be in a little detention because I didn't get out of there until 1:30 local time. The delivery was set for 9:22. Actually, the first time I paid for parking was last night. There was nothing left. But I've got enough points on my Flying J pilot, and I just use my points. I saw the tow truck doing circles, and I figured, might as well pay. This is the first time since I've been on my own I've paid for parking. Typically, in most places, they say reserve, but no one comes and checks. So you can get away with it. Not that I'm recommend you do that. If you can find parking that's not reserved, by all means do that. But a couple of times when I couldn't find regular parking, I jumped into the reserve spot, just hung out a little bit to make sure that I wasn't causing any problems or there wasn't somebody who reserved it. I'm courteous. Hey, listen, I'd hate to pay for a spot, and when you get there, there's no spots available, and when you walk in, they just shrug their shoulders and they can't do nothing, and I refund your money. And that happened to me on my TNT phase, where I walked in, he had paid for parking, prepaid for his parking. You get there, there's not a spot to be found. He walked in and said, "What's up?" And I guess the long story short, he came out, he was madder than heck, and they wouldn't do nothing about it. So I think he ended up getting in touch with corporate. I'm not going to name the company. He got in touch with corporate, and I believe he mentioned that they reimbursed him the money and gave him a few extra points. That's one thing you want to do in your TNT phase, is absolutely sign up, get your cards, because when it's your turn driving, you should be fueling, you should be acquiring points and showers. At least that's what happened with me on my TNT phase, but not until I opened my mouth. So I heard another driver mention that when he was in his phase, every time he fueled, the instructor or the trainer would allow him to accumulate points and showers. So it wasn't happening at the very beginning. He was like, "Well, it's my truck and I'm paying for the fuel. Why should you get the points?" I'm like, "Because I'm making your money. You know, instead of you running 3,000 miles a week or whatever, we're running double that." So we kind of got into a little argument about that. I said, "Do the right thing, you know. do the right thing. It's all it does. All it takes is to do the right thing. So finally, halfway through my training, that's what was happening. I was able to start accumulating points and shower credits at the Petro. He wasn't a fan of Love's. He was convinced that Love's fuel is not as good as TA or Petro. Like, he would primarily fuel at TA and Petro. If he had gotten into a jam, he would go to Pilot Flying J or to top off the reefer. He didn't care. But when it came to his truck, he swore up and down that Love's fuel caused him to have fuel filter issues. I don't know. That's up for debate. I personally think that many different trucks go to the same plant, dump the same fuel in their trucks, and go ahead and deliver it, whether it's Petro, TA, Sunoco, whatever. They're getting it from the same plant. It's not like TA and Petro have their own refinery that's exclusively goes to all their truck stops. So anyway, so it kind of burnt. That kind of, I'm kind of reluctant because of my situation with a trainer to get fuel at Love's. I mean, I have, and I will, if deemed necessary. But if there's a Flying J or a TA, I'm going to fuel there. Get over one lane here. That buzzer just goes off every time I go from my left to my right. I don't know why. This guy in his trash truck. See, the sensors on these trucks are very sensitive. If you're less than 1.3 seconds behind a vehicle, it starts getting a little squirrely on you. And then when you switch lanes, like I said, from left to right, that lane departure goes off. And in the snow, when those sensors get jammed up, you could be in the middle of nowhere with nobody around, and that following distance comes up and starts throwing red caution. It's like, bro, I'm near no one. There's nothing but road in front of me. So yeah, you gotta stop, pull over when it's safe, clean it out, and then 10 seconds later it's all jammed up again anyway. So modern technology is great, but it's also very sensitive. And I don't know how these autonomous trucks are going to do in the mountains with snow, fog. And that's what's coming, folks. Not for every aspect of trucking. I'm sure for a select variety of trucking that will happen, or they'll go from one distribution area to another distribution area, and regular man drivers will then take over. And I don't understand how autonomous trucks are going to ride through mountains with heavy snow and fog and heavy rain. I just don't see it working. But again, humans are pretty ingenious when it comes to figuring things out. We shall see. Definitely will happen in my lifetime, in all of our lifetime, unless you're 80. It's here now. Forget about it. It's here now. It's just not widely used yet. Anyway, I'll be back at you. Alright guys, that was a quick check-in. I got door number 1. Tighter than the drum over here. take every bit of my skill set to get this thing in here. But have no fear. Henry's here. Absolutely the tightest back I've ever had. Absolutely the hardest. But you know what? I love life. Be right back. Alright, I have to open the doors. Open the doors. And I let them in. People walking behind the tractor trailer, when I'm trying to back. Just really genius people. Just take your time when you're backing. That's all you've got to do is just take your time. Like the 7th hole too, so it makes for swinging around tighter corners a lot easier than having the tandem slid all the way back. But you know what? I'm not sliding no tandems back. Straighten up. One pull up. At this point, there's no need to cut the steering wheel that much. Just slow little maneuvers. I should get a GoPro for the back of the truck. That'd be cool, but I don't feel like spending $300. My channel, if my channel blows up, then I will absolutely do that. If's a big word. You know what? If's the biggest word in the English language, folks. Alright, one more little dinky pull up and we're good. Alright, the whole object is to get this thing get loaded ASAP. I don't even see any green lights on these doors. This place is a little shot ski. But the good news is I get to pull out. Is there a green light there? folks. We'll come back at you.